Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-DeVries here, presenting another tutorial video. One thing I realised that I hadn't addressed was going over the break for the first time. Now, what I mean by break is all to do with changing registers. Most notably by putting the register key on. And to give you a little bit of clarinet history, the clarinet used to be the chalumeau, and it was just the lower register of the instrument. It wasn't until they repositioned the thumb hole to be slightly askew from the first finger hole that they were able to add a register key and give you more notes of the clarinet, higher notes. Clarinet has three different registers. The first register is the chalumeau register, which is all the notes going down to a low E up to A, which is up to B flat, which is in the middle line of the stave. So the easiest note to start on is the open G. But gradually putting your fingers down, and it goes up, and with the use of trill fingerings you can get a B natural, but those fingerings are only to be used as trill fingerings. Now, the clarinet is a special instrument with regards to all of the other woodwind instruments in that it actually has a cylindrical bore. That means that this hole here is the same as this hole here. It's cylindrical, it's like a cylinder. You'll find that the other wind instruments are shaped like cones, and the reason this is important is to do with the actual physics of the instrument and what's called the overtones or harmonics series. Because if you take an ordinary bottle and blow across the top of it, you'll get a sound. If you blow a little bit harder, you'll find that you get a higher sound, which is an octave higher. These instruments with conical bores overblow at the octave. Now, the clarinet's special, being a cylindrical bore, it actually overblows at the octave in a 12th. The octave in a fifth, which is the 12th. So, unlike most wind instruments where, say, you play an E and you overblow it, you'll get a higher E. On the clarinet, you'll go the octave in a fifth, so that a low E will turn out to be a B. And that's by putting the register key on. Now, when you put the register key on, the register you're going into is called the clarion register. And then if you go higher, it's called the altissimo register. Okay. Now, when I talk about going over the break, I'm talking about going from the chalumeau register to the clarion register. And it's called a break because you go from putting very few fingers down to just about all of the fingers down if you're going from an A to a B. And you'll notice that I actually keep my fingers very close to the holes. That makes it a lot easier. Now, there's a number of ways of making going over the break a lot easier. Now, the first thing you have to ensure is you've got decent low notes, because if you aren't playing the low notes properly, say the low E, if you're not playing a proper low E, then when you flick the register key on, you mightn't get a B, you might get something else. And actually, the best way to find out if you're going to get a decent B is to do this exercise where you play the low E and then stick the register key on, moving no other fingers but your thumb. And then play a low F. and then a low F sharp, and then a low G to a low D. And the way to strengthen the pinky fingers is a little trick I learned, where you move around the keys here. You can see the keys that I'm fingering with my right pinky. So you've got because these are the hardest notes to get, because you might have you probably can't afford a decent instrument, and so that you've got to make sure the pads and the keys are all aligned properly so you can actually physically get those notes. Now, the easiest way to make going over the break easier is to cover the holes, because you'll find that if you play an A but you stick these three fingers down, it's not going to be much different. So that when you go from A to B, if you've already got these fingers down, you only need to put these fingers down and this one. So if you've got 1, 2, 3 down, it's a lot smoother. You could almost get away with having these two down as well. So you're only actually moving the first finger and the thumb. And actually, if you have a look at my video on getting the most of your throat tones, you'll find out that covered fingerings not only get your throat tones sounding really good, but they can help you play over the break because you've already got half the fingers down. So for an A, I would put these two fingers down, these two fingers down, and the C key, so that going from A to B, you're only actually moving a couple of fingers. Now for the B flat, I would already have the ring finger, both ring fingers down, and the F and the C key, so that you're only moving a couple of fingers on each hand. And even better is your throat tone's going to sound really, really good. And it works as well going further down. So say you're playing a G and you want to go to a B, have these fingers down already. And the same thing going. Now, once you go below the G, you can't stick your fingers down because it alters the tuning too much. If I play an F sharp, you can see it's quite flat. So you will, but I'm hoping that by the time you've got, that figured out, you've trained your fingers to move all together. Because that's the trick to getting over the break, is going from hardly any fingers down to a lot of fingers down, and then the fingers all moving as one entity, so that you can almost trill. I have actually trilled using the long fingerings, because you can go A to B. In some music I've been able to go almost as fast, and B flat to C. It's because I've trained all my fingers to move all at once. So, technique to getting over the break is have as many fingers down already as you can, and that way you won't need to put so many down when you change notes. So that's my take on how to get over the break. Make sure you've got make sure you can actually get the break, get the sounds of the clarion first by testing it out on the lower register and adding the register key. It's also a matter of pitching, because if you pitch wrong, you'll get the next overtone up, which will be a G. You see that? Okay, so I hope that's been of some use to you. Any further questions, don't hesitate to ask.